Juma Mubarak to everyone. This Mubarak day, Safar, may we find protection in this month. May we get more blessings from our Shaykh. May we run to do the work of Allah in this month, inshallah. We have a question. Our brother's asking us. Say the question again so everyone can hear.
How does brotherhood divide?
Yeah, that is a good question. Now he's asking, saying, how does brotherhood divide? He's asking that because he was listening to the khutbah. How does brotherhood divide? First, look at the first two brothers that was ever sent into this world. Who are the two brothers? Habil and Kabil. Two brothers came. They were brothers from the same father, same mother. They are brothers, first generation here on earth. Their parents were from fresh off the boat, from Jannat. And they are first generation here. They are brothers. They were listening and experiencing things from what their parents were speaking about, our father Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, about their original home. They were brothers growing up. How did that brotherhood crack? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. How did that brotherhood become one of violence, one of bloodshed, one of disaster? You know the story, the circumstances. Habil, he was big, he was powerful, he was very beautiful, very handsome, and he was also very gentle. He was taking care of all the animals, and he was being gentle with them, being the first shepherd. His brother Kabil, he was smaller, he was darker, and he was not believing in his parents so much. He is believing in what he sees. He's believing in the five senses. He says, what I see is what I believe. If I don't see, I don't believe. And when the order came for them to be married, and at that time the Shariat is, twins comes out every time Hawa gave birth. Twins, a boy and a girl. The boy and a girl from the same time, the same, say, stomach. I like to use that word because Shaykh Efendi used that word. I know it's not coming from the stomach, it's coming from the womb. But the twins, the boy and the girl coming from the same stomach, they cannot get married to each other. They have to marry from another twin that is from a different time of conception. So now a boy and a girl, now they're going to marry like this. That was the Shariat. So the order came now for Habil to get married to Kabil's twin. And Kabil to get married to Habil's twin. But Kabil did not like it. Why he did not like? Because he prefers his own sister. Because she was good looking. And he did not have much belief. Because he was believing more in this world. He was one of those disobedient ones when Adam alayhi salam started talking about paradise and starts talking about judgment day and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and everything. He's thinking, he says, Father, you're growing old, I think. You're growing old and you're growing senile. Because this is what it is. This dunya is what it is. there is no world before this. There's not going to be any world after this. This is all it is. Exactly the same way from that time until today to people who do not believe. They're saying this dunya is all that there is. And with him, so many others they follow too. But Habil, he believed. Now, when the order came, and he did not like it so much, 3 times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed him what is Allah's pleasure, what is Allah's will. 3 times. 3 times, 3 tests, 3 sacrifices were given, and every single time Kabil failed. Why did he fail? It is not because Allah favored Habil and did not favor Kabil. Let me give you one example. Sacrifice came saying, select the best of what you have and give it for the sake of Allah. Zakat. Habil chose his biggest, most healthy, most beautiful ram to be sacrificed. Kabil thought, because he doesn't believe, he's saying, what is all this? I worked so hard to plant wheat and corn and everything. I'm going to give the best for this thing that I don't believe. Who knows what it is? He says, I'm not going to give my best. He took whatever is there, leftovers on the floor, and he gathered it up for the sake of Allah. He gave that. Fire came, again, it chose Habil's. Fire came from the paradises, running around, wrapped around the sheep, and brought it up. It was accepted, and that was left there. And now, first that disbelief, that disobedience that he has to his Shaykh, to his Prophet, to his Father, to his Lord, to his Creator, that disobedience now turns into jealousy because he wants, what his ego wants, not what Allah has willed. And that jealousy now, it turns to anger. Because he's saying, why he's accepting my brother's sacrifice but not mine? Because once you become arrogant, you lose all intelligence. Once you become angry, you lose all intelligence. Once you become stubborn, there's no intelligence, there's no faith. Nothing can reach you that time, which is why to get rid of these 4 enemies, the anger, jealousy, stubbornness, and arrogance, if you don't get rid of it, impossible for faith now to be in your heart. Impossible. That faith is going to be destroyed before you're brought up. So now, he did not accept it. It's an open sign. And that sheep was a sheep that later came down to Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam that they sacrificed. And they put the head of the sheep on top of one of the corners of the Kaaba, and that head was there until the time of the Prophet alayhi salam, until the time of Yazid, when he burnt it down. Yazid was also a Muslim. Once upon a time he prayed too. He fasted too. Once upon a time he was holding the hands of Hazrateri Hussein and he was playing with him. So people who are so proud, thinking that their amal is the only thing that's going to save them, the ibadat is the only thing that's going to save them, we have so many examples to show you the opposite. It is not going to save you except for sincerity, except if you hold fast to the rope of Allah. So, now he got arrogant and stubborn to his Lord. He's saying, he's accepting his sacrifice but not mine. And now, all of that, Shaitan starts whispering in his ear. All the signs are there. What did he do from this jealousy? He saw his brother sleeping and he says, I must kill my brother because I want to marry my sister. He saw him sleeping, and Habil was sleeping, and Habil opened his eyes and looked at his brother. His brother was holding a rock, a huge rock, and he was going to kill him. He says, my brother, what are you doing? He says, you know what I'm doing. His brother was saying, Kabil was saying, you're not going to fight me. Habil, although he was much bigger than his brother, says, I fear from Allah. He came and he smashed his head. How these 2 brothers, at that time then, they had no influence from no friends or anything, just their parents coming from Jannah, how did Kabil come into that situation where he committed the first murder in this world? And every murder that happens from that time until the day of judgment, Kabil is going to be punished also for that. Because of jealousy, the anger, the stubbornness, because of arrogance. He picked up his brother. That time when he did it, the whole of creation says, "What did you do? What did you do? What did you do?" They were crying. So now, the brotherhood, first it has to be formed. In the ayat that we have mentioned before there was brotherhood, they were enemies. Before we were brothers, we were enemies. Then, Allah is the one who brought us together. What are the things that brings us together? What makes us to be a brotherhood? In this Jamaat, it is very clear, it is our Shaykh that's making us to be brothers. Without him, without him being a glue, we cannot hold on to each other, not for nothing. 1 day, 2 days, 1 year, 2 years, then everything is going to just break up. Because if we're not holding on to the rope of Allah, we will separate. If we're not holding on to the rope of Allah, we're just holding on to each other's ego. That's why all this, there's no real friendship anymore. There's no real sacrifice. In the old days, there used to be a sense of honor, because honor is coming from the one who created honor. But in these days, they are teaching you there's no such thing as these things. Only thing is dunya. So don't be stupid. Run after the dunya. So if the brotherhood is coming together because of Allah and His Prophet, because of our Shaykh, then what is going to tear this apart? What is going to stop this? Same thing with Kabil. Same thing until the end of this world, Judgment Day. It is the nafs. It is the ego. And it starts always with jealousy. Always. Then other things start, other things will start. And the person who is sitting down and trying to understand and holding on and controlling it, help will come in different ways. Maybe it's another friend, maybe it's a word, maybe your shaykh, maybe something is going to come. And because these 4 states of anger, jealousy, stubbornness, and arrogance, these are drunken stations. When a person enters into that station, if he is not careful, he can get drunk in it. And a drunk man, it takes a while for them to come out from it. You cannot now take a drunk man and just tell him to stand up and slap him and just tell him to stand up. It's not going to do nothing to him. What are you going to do to a drunk man now? Say a drunk man, he gets drunk and he gets violent. What are you going to do? You're going to make him to become undrunk? You're going to give him coffee? You're going to stop him from hurting himself and hurting others. That's what you're going to do. So now these are drunken stations. And in that drunken stations, if you don't know what you're doing, you may be doing more damage than you are doing, giving them help. So this brotherhood that Shaykh Effendi is building, what tears us apart, this brotherhood? If we stop holding on to our Shaykh and we start holding on to our ego. No matter how painful it is to our ego, no matter how hard, don't let go. Don't believe in that jealousy. Don't believe in that anger. Don't believe in that disobedience. Don't think that it is real. It is not real. Something just coming over you for a while, after a while it's going to come down. Maybe it's going to take some time, but it will. And those who know what they're doing can help a person just like that. So this Jamaat, Alhamdulillah, we have a brotherhood, but we have to be very careful. Because Shaitan wants to come to break up every good thing that we are trying to build. Our ego first will try to break it up. Are you allowed to have differences? Of course, differences are something else. And in a hadith sharif, the Holy Prophet ﷺ is even saying, the differences in my ummah, it is a mercy to my ummah. But when the differences, it becomes not differences so you can learn from each other, it becomes my ego and your ego. When that brotherhood, there is no leadership. When in that brotherhood, you refuse to submit to a leader. When that brotherhood becomes everyone is equal, there's definitely going to be a problem. Because nobody is equal. The problem comes when people think that they are higher than anyone else. That's when the problem comes. Because Holy Prophet says, even if there are 3 people, one must be a leader. One must speak and the others must listen. Oh, but I don't want to follow a wrong leader. It doesn't matter at that time. Someone has to lead and someone has to follow. That person may not be a leader the whole time. You yourself, you're perfect, that you want a perfect leader? No. He may make certain mistakes. It doesn't matter now. It's not your responsibility. It's the responsibility of the one over him to correct him and to bring him out. Because now, especially in tariqat, the leaders that have been assigned, it is not our responsibility. It is not our choice. Shaykh Effendi has put it. So, allow the differences to be. But don't make the differences the cause for something to break up. If you allow the differences to be a cause, then that time it becomes a fitna. When you start being jealous and arrogant and stubborn, it becomes a fitna. And that's definitely going to break the jama'ah. When you see what is Holy Prophet ﷺ saying? If you see something, your brother is doing something wrong, first make 70 excuses. Excuse him. That is a word to say, don't jump to judge and to condemn someone, especially your brothers. He's doing something wrong. Try to find an excuse for him. Especially if you're not living in the Dergah. And even if you're living in the Dergah, it's not for everyone to start correcting each other. Those who are given authority to correct, they may correct. That authority may change. One day the person may have, next day the person may not have. And at certain situations, the Shaykh may even say, from now on, if you see something wrong, you are going to say. Like if you see something wrong, some person is doing, like if they're sleeping during my Sohbet, but they're never sleeping when they're eating, and they're eating forbidden foods that they're not supposed to, and they're making a show. That one is, it is everyone's responsibility to make a report about that one. You cannot cover that one's mistakes now. You must open it. You understand? That's different. But for normal people, because people coming into a brotherhood also, they come with different experience, different cultures, different language, different understandings. And the Shaykh will never judge a person like he judges the next one or the next one and the next one. He looks at each patient special. And he's trying to look and to see what can make this person to become better. And he gives that, inshallah. So, inshallah Rahman. The difference is, they're all right. And brotherhood has to go through a lot of experiences for it to become real. Brotherhood does not mean you call each other Aki. It's so annoying here. Yo, Aki! Where are you? Alright? It's not just, what does it mean when you say someone is a brother? That's why even in the Dergah, you don't call each other brother. You know, brother, this brother. Because that is a very heavy term. A brother means you will give up your life for him. So don't be a hypocrite by calling a person a brother, but you know you're never going to give up anything for him. You understand? And we want, inshallah Rahman, to be like the companions. That they sacrifice everything for each other, and they're always striving for the truth. They may have their differences, but it's never for the ego, never. ومن الله التوفيق. الفاتحة.